Good morning, everybody. What's going on? Welcome back to Movie Mornings. I am your host, Martino, and today we are doing our final Oscar predictions and a pre-show for The Last of Us finale. We're going to put them in two or put both in one show. I'm very excited to get into this. It's just me today, actually. I'm flying solo, so this is going to be very interesting to see how all this pans out. So definitely, before we get started, please do us a favor, hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, and hit the bell for notifications. Much appreciated as always. And I'm excited to get into a lot of this stuff, and we are just going to start with the Oscar predictions. That way, when we get into The Last of Us, when I talk spoilers about everything that came before, if you're not caught up on the show, you can tune out. So let's get into these nominees. I'll tell you, first off, I haven't seen everything on this list yet. I'm going to try to be as caught up as humanly possible by tomorrow. I can give some comments on the way of things I have seen, though. So that should be good, right? We'll see how things go. I don't know. This is my first time solo in a long time, probably the first time on Movie Mornings doing one by myself. So we'll see how everything goes here. I do want to know what you think of a lot of the picks, though. So comment that below and stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun to talk with you guys about this. So let's get right into it. And give me 1 second to figure this out. There we are. Cool. So as you can see, I have the site here. Town and Country Magazine. Never been on this site before, but they do have the accurate Oscar picks. So, hey, there we are. So they have, for Best Visual Effects, Top Gun Maverick, Black Panther, The Batman, Avatar: The Way of Water, and All Quiet on the Western Front. I'm going to tell you what, I think this is easy. It's going to be Avatar: The Way of Water. I don't see anything taking it over that. If anything, it would be All Quiet on the Western Front. It's a very visual and visceral war film. So if anything takes it from Avatar: The Way of Water, it's going to be that, I think. Well, I mean, Black Panther, right? It's up there. But I think All Quiet would be the one to take it. But it's going to be Avatar. Take my word for it. I have no doubt in my mind. This is like the one. It's like, it has to be Avatar: The Way of Water. That thing is just, the whole thing is, I mean, it's a good story, but spectacle, you know? People go to that for the spectacle. But the story's good too. So there's that going for it. So next one, now that we got that one predicted, is going to be Best Sound. So let's take a look at what they got here. All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Batman, Elvis, and Top Gun Maverick. This one's a lot more tough. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Because All Quiet on the Western Front, amazing sound. Avatar: The Way of Water, amazing sound. The Batman, wow. Elvis, wow. Top Gun Maverick, wow, right? I mean, they all just have incredible sound. I'll tell you, I would like to see the Batman take this one, if any of them. And that's because of when I heard the Batmobile for the first time in that theater, it was just so powerful. You know, Avatar had great sound. They all had great sound. But I would like to see the Batman. There's something about that Batmobile scene. It really was reminiscent of when I first heard the pods and the pod racing and like Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1. So that's the one I would like to see take this one. It's the Batman. I'm not saying it will. Top Gun could easily slip in there. And so can All Quiet on the Western Front. So that's a tough one. That's a tough prediction. I can just tell you what I want to see take it. If I'm a betting man, it's going to be Top Gun Maverick. I think All Quiet on the Western Front's the upset. But damn, if it was up to me, it'd be the Batman. That's how I feel, but probably not how the general public or the Academy is going to feel. But let's keep going. Let's see what's next. All right. So we're looking at Best Animated Short Film. You know how many of these I saw? Not a one. But let's make a prediction right now. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. I don't know. The Flying Sailor. I don't know. Ice Merchants. Merchants. I can't talk. I don't know. My Year of Dicks. I love that name. So it's going to be my prediction. But I also like the name of this last one here. An ostrich told me the world is fake, and I think I believe it. That's a title that makes me want to watch that, right? I got to know what that entails. An ostrich told me the world is fake, and I think I believe it. Wow. My Year of Dicks, though. My Year of Dicks, right? That's got to be it. I would imagine. Probably, I'm probably way out of line on that one. That's probably not going to be the one, but worth predicting, I guess. All right, and then above this here, we have Best Documentary Short Film. I'm just going to fly through these categories I haven't seen at this point. The Elephant Whisperers, Howlett, How Do You Measure a Year, Martha Mitchell Effect, Stranger at the Gate. I'm going to go with the one with the coolest title, Martha Mitchell Effect. Nah, I don't know. Stranger at the Gate, I've actually heard a lot of hype about, despite the fact that I haven't seen it. So that's the one I'm going with. And let's fly through this one here. Best Live Action Short Film, An Irish Goodbye, Evalu La Papille. I don't know if I said that right at all. Night Ride, The Red Suitcase. I would say, I've heard hype on both the Le Papille, again, don't know if I'm saying it right, and An Irish Goodbye. But I'm going to go with the Le Papille. I hope that's, I think that's going to be the winner because I've heard the most hype on that. But I've actually heard hype on all these, to be fair. A lot of them just have really good hype right now. But Le Papille, I bet you more people watched it because it's sitting right there on Disney Plus. I don't know, a couple of these other ones might be, and I might be mistaken, but I think Le Papille is the one on Disney Plus. I bet you more people just, it was so accessible. They're like, it was the easiest one to get to. I'm going to vote for that. I hope that's not the standard for voting. I'm just making a joke here. But honestly, it is the easiest one to get to, which means that I think more people are going to, they would have tended to have watched it because the one I see advertised all the time, which means that also just means it had a great campaign this year, right? If little old me can find it like that, it had a great campaign, probably. Good marketing. And sometimes that matters. You probably just heard a ding. I don't know why it does that sometimes. But yeah, that's the one I'm going to go with. I could be wrong. There's probably another one I'm not thinking of here that got more hype. But all right, let's move up here a little bit. All right, best makeup and hairstyling. We got All Quiet on the Western Front, The Batman, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Elvis, and The Whale. I would like to see Black Panther, Wakanda Forever take this one, and it probably deserves it. But I could see Elvis being the upset. It's probably going to be Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. There went that ding again. I don't know why it does that. So sorry about that, if you heard that. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. All right. Let's take a look at what else we got. Son of a bitch. I wish we could. I don't know if it's a shortage in my headphone cord, so it just, I don't hear anything cutting in and out on it. And I have myself monitored right now. See? What is that? What the fuck is that? No clue. All right. Well, yeah, best makeup and hairstyling. I do think it's going to be Wakanda Forever, Black Panther on that one. But Elvis, man, if it's the upset, I won't be surprised. Not per se. All right. Look at this. Here we go. Got to find my tabs here. Again, this is the first time I'm running it by myself, so yeah, it's a little more difficult. Usually Jose can stall while I go to the next screen or tab, and I don't have that today, so you're gonna have to forgive me. I literally, I'll tell you what, I couldn't get anybody to do this today. Somebody's gonna comment on this and be like, Dom, why didn't you ask me? It's gonna be somebody I'm gonna be like, fuck, I didn't think about asking them. I guarantee it. But yeah, couldn't find a one person to do this with me. So that's that. Let's go back here. All right. I think we just did best costume, right? Or no, we did makeup and hairstyling. Best costume. Babylon, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. You know, didn't see Babylon or Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Not only that, I haven't even seen a trailer for Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Gotta be honest. So I know like nothing about it. But if it takes place in Paris, as it is, I could see some costume design going into that and being a bit significant, right? But Babylon, because I've seen the trailer, it's going to be Babylon or Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I'm going to go with Black Panther Wakanda Forever. But I think the upset would be Babylon. Although, I mean, Elvis, man. Great costumes in that film. Phenomenal. Black Panther Wakanda Forever, though. I'm going to go ahead and make that bet. Not really a bet. There's no money on the table or anything. So, yeah, but that's what I'm going to do. All right, what are we looking at? Best production design. Let's move right along. Moving right along. I know a couple of people that'll get that joke. It's an inside joke. All right, best production design. Son of a bitch with the beeping, though. Like, I really don't know what it is, guys. If you guys are, like, technologically smart out there, and you could think of what in the heck that would be. I know that usually when that happens, something will pop down in the bottom right corner. But honestly, it's not. Like I'm telling you. So if you guys are hearing that dinging and you're technologically smart and it's an easy fix, just leave a comment. Let me know what the hell you think it might be. It's probably hard without you guys seeing what in the hell I have hooked up. I mean, I have 2 capture cards. One's inactive because I'm just using my camera today. And they're in there pretty good. Mouse. It could be the mouse with the keyboard because I keep moving the mouse. Maybe the mouse. I don't know. And no, because the mouse has been staying active. I haven't had any, like, lag on it. I don't know, guys. I really don't. I mean, the mixing board, the mixer, as you can see, that's hooked up down there. Monitors, but those are through HDMI. I don't think those ding when they get loose. There's nothing else. Headphones. There's nothing else. Not a phone or anything like that at the moment. So I don't know. Sorry to go on my little rant there. So I think we were on best production design. That's correct. All right, here we go. All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, Babylon, Elvis, The Fabelmans. I'll be honest, I haven't seen The Fabelmans yet. I am going to have seen it before the ceremony tomorrow as planned. And I haven't seen Babylon yet. I just hear it's not a good movie. And I love Damien Chazelle as a director, but like just about everybody told me. I mean, there was 1 or 2 people that liked it, but pretty much everybody else told me, yeah, that movie's not good. And I don't know. I'm going to watch it for Damien Chazelle, but I had a hard time getting to that one. Most people just tell me it's not good. And so eventually I will get to that. You hear the beeping? I'm telling you guys, it's annoying. So sorry. I can't think of what in the hell it would be. Okay. Let's see. This is a tough one. Because, again, all great production design. I think because of the... I mean, I'll tell you. All Quiet on the Western Front, amazing sets. Makes the world all the more visceral, if you ask me. So, definitely going with All Quiet on the Western Front on this one. That's my prediction. But, again, any of these could step up and take it, you know? All right, let's take a look. Best original song. Applause from Tell It Like a Woman, Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick, Lift Me Up from Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Not To from RRR, This Is the Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once. I have not seen Tell It Like a Woman, and I have not heard the song. Same with RRR. I know I need to watch it. Everybody's been telling me it's going to have to be an after Oscar ceremony thing, unfortunately. I wanted to try to get through as many of the Best Picture nominees as I could prior to the ceremony. But, man, it's going to have to be... I'm going to say Lift Me Up from Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I think Black Panther's taken a lot this year. It's my prediction. Again, I could be 100% wrong. But that's my honest prediction here. And then Hold My Hand, I think, is going to be the upset on this one. I just think they're both fantastic songs. Lift Me Up is especially powerful, though, for other reasons. And I'm thinking, yeah. I mean, it's got the, Chadwick Boseman thing attached to it. So in my mind, it's like, that's got to be the one. But maybe like Not To from RRR is amazing. And you guys are going to tell me otherwise. You're going to be like, no. That song's far more powerful. I really just don't know. So it should be interesting. We'll see. Okay. Best original score. We're looking at All Quiet on the Western Front, Babylon, The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and The Fabelmans. I'll tell you what. There's two here that are tied for me. I'll tell you who I want to win actually at this point is All Quiet on the Western Front. That score, it's the best score I heard all year, probably. It's amazing. But The Fabelmans has John Williams attached. So I think John Williams is going to win. But All Quiet on the Western Front probably should win. I understand John Williams, he's going out soon, right? Like, he's going to retire. So they might do it as that legacy win, and I understand that. But All Quiet, ooh, I'll tell you what, score blew my fucking mind. It's incredible. If you guys haven't heard that score, you can check it out. Really, really good stuff. And I haven't heard the one for Babylon, though, to be fair. And Damien Chazelle always has magnificent scores in his films. The other two at decent scores, Banshees and Everything Everywhere, but nothing blew my mind this year like All Quiet on the Western Front. And I did, by the way. I think The Fabelmans is going to win, and I love that score. It's great. But it's got to be All Quiet on the Western Front. That's the score that blew my mind. The one that I think should be in here that got snubbed, if I may, is Michael Giacchino's score for The Batman. Because I heard that, and I was like, that's Giacchino's magnum opus. It really, really is, guys. Like, I heard Giacchino's score for Spider-Man No Way Home. What was that, 2 years ago now? Jeez. And in my mind, that was his best score. And then The Batman came out. And the music for that, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he topped what he did for Spider-Man. The Batman score is Giacchino's magnum opus. So I'm really sad he didn't even get nominated for that, because it's amazing to me when I hear that score. It's fantastic. That original theme they came up for Batman alone, it's just, when I listen to that, it's so Batman. It's perfect for Batman. So Bummer. I think he got snubbed in that one. I'll be honest. That was an actual snub. Because there's two of these. I'd put him over. I'll tell you right now. Personally. Let's move on. Best film editing. Looking at Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, Top Gun Maverick. I think it's Everything Everywhere All at Once. And it should win for editing. When it comes to editing, Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's taking it. There's no doubt about it. Elvis could be the upset, but it's Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'll tell you guys right now. It's winning that. The editing in the film. Usually I could look at movies, see how they're edited, and it's like I have a general grasp on how they did that sequence, you know. Everything Everywhere All at Once, it was like a magician was performing for me when I was watching the editing for that film. I was like, how in the hell did they do that? Like, I couldn't think of any like technological. I don't know how that film got edited. I mean, I could think of ways, but geez, they sound like such a pain in the ass in my mind. I know there are film editors out there that are just terrific, without a doubt. Don't get me wrong. But there were sequences in that film that were like, how in the hell? No idea. So that's where I'm at with that one. All right, let's move on. Best international film, All Quiet on the Western Front, Argentina, Close, EO, The Quiet One. I think it's going to be All Quiet on the Western Front. It's the only one of those, first of all, that was apparently good enough to the Academy to get nominated for Best Picture, right? So, All Quiet on the Western Front. I haven't seen any of the others, to be fair, but I'll say this. That movie, I can't see. I'm not saying that none of the other ones topped it, right? But, gosh, it's a hard one to top. That's all I'm saying. So it's that one. Best documentary feature film. We have All That Breeds. Breathes. That's a different movie. All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, Fire of Love, A House Made of Splinters, Navalny. Again, because it's so accessible, even to me. I'll tell you, Fire of Love is, I have heard so much hype on it. Not to mention, I really want to watch this documentary. I haven't had a chance. Because I saw that trailer, I was like, that looks really fucking fascinating. It's like a couple that like walked through a volcano. It sounds so compelling and interesting. The fucking beeping, guys, I'm telling you. Or dinging, or whatever you want to call it. I really don't know what it is. I mean, all my cords, I checked. Everything's in there. Pretty good. Nothing's loose. So that's annoying for you guys. See, there it goes again. And I'm sorry about that. Sorry. We'll figure it out somehow. All right. Best animated feature film. I'll tell you what I think should win is going to be the same thing that I think will win. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, Puss in Boots, The Sea Beast, Turning Red. Now, to be fair, I haven't seen Puss in Boots. Well, I haven't seen any of these except for Pinocchio. So maybe I'm biased. But with the hype behind that one, I think it is going to win. But all these have hype to a degree. I think the two that I've heard the best things about so far are Pinocchio and Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. But I have a theory. Hear me out. That Robert Zemeckis Pinocchio that came out on Disney Plus was such a piece of shit that I feel like when people saw Guillermo del Toro's version that came out on Netflix a little bit later this year, or last year now, they were like, oh my God, that was such a breath of fresh air. I have to nominate it. Because it is far better than the one on Disney Plus. Like, by a long shot. I love that fucking movie. What Guillermo del Toro did with Pinocchio is unbelievable. And the animation style alone, which I know, like, Marcel the Shell has a very unique style to animation as well. So I don't want to put it past it, but I'll tell you what, there was a lot of freaking work in Pinocchio, and the performances. I mean, he's got such a stellar cast in that movie that I'm like, they have to nominate that, or that one's got to win. So beautiful to look at too. It's Guillermo del Toro. Everything the guy directs is gorgeous to look at, but what he did with Pinocchio, it really was after coming out the Robert Zemeckis one. It was so great to see a phenomenal adaptation of Pinocchio coming out in the same year as that. I'm sorry, piece of shit. And everything's subjective. Maybe some of you guys like the Disney Plus Robert Zemeckis Pinocchio. By golly, I did not. I haven't heard a lot of people who did. So I think maybe people will be like, yeah, that was such a breath of fresh air. Like, made up for that piece of shit. So maybe people nominate it. Or, yeah, vote for it for that reason. I think that'll be the one, honestly. So I'm going Pinocchio. All right. Best cinematography, All Quiet. Oop. Son of a bitch. All Quiet on the Western Front, Bardo, Elvis, Empire of Light, and Tar. I think of these, it's probably going to be All Quiet on the Western Front, honestly. Although Elvis, easy upset to me. I love Tar, by the way. I just don't think it's a great looking movie, but I don't think it compares to Elvis or All Quiet on the Western Front. Probably should win this category. And yeah, so hopefully it's that one. I think it is going to be that one. That's my prediction. It's all a prediction. It's not, it doesn't really matter, actually, at the end of the day. But I'm just doing this because it's fun, right? It's fun to try to predict it and see if you're right. All right. Best adapted screenplay. Top Gun Maverick, Living, Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, Women Talking, All Quiet on the Western Front. It's interesting how sequels are adaptations, right? That's funny to me how they do that, like with Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery. It's like, well, I guess it's adapted from its first film. I get the logic on one end, but on the other hand, it's like Rian Johnson wrote an original movie, though. Like, it was still a story he had to pretty much build from the ground up. And I would like to see Glass Onion take this one, for sure, personally, but I do think it's really tough. I don't know. I mean, Living is such a meaty script, you know? It really is. A decent little film, too. You know what? I'm gonna stick with Glass Onion on this one. I think that's the one. Even though, and All Quiet on the Western Front, great freaking script, right? Good adapted script, or well adapted script. I'm gonna say Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery, even though it's more of an original script. I just think that that's the script that would take this. It's clever, you know, the cleverness that Ryan puts into it. I think. I don't know, and maybe it would even have more of a chance if they had put it in original, which I guess that it goes against the rules for the Academy. But yeah, Glass Onion. I mean, that script it's airtight. Honestly, so clever. All the loose ends, the way he has to tie all the loose ends up of the murder mystery. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Glass Onion for that one. I mean, damn, that's awesome. But hopefully it does win. I'm just so glad it got nominated. Honestly, should be there. But the upset would be I'll probably say All Quiet on the Western Front if there is one. And I haven't seen Women Talking yet, to be fair. So maybe that one could take it. I don't see. I love Top Gun Maverick to death, but I don't see that being a script from a script perspective. Although, you know, they had to adapt a sequel. And the fact that they did that and it was as successful as it was, but still, I don't know. I'm going Glass Onion. That's my pick. That's what I want, and that's what I think. Best original screenplay. We have Todd Field for Tar, Steven Spielberg and Tony Kushner for The Fabelmans, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Mark McDonough for Banshees of Inisherin and Ruben Östlund. This is probably the toughest category I've had to predict so far. Tar would be my prediction. That screenplay is awesome. There's no doubt about it. Like, from a screenplay perspective, where you have to write fucking words, Tar, for sure. And Todd Field did an amazing job at that. But from an originality standpoint, I think Everything Everywhere all at once could be the upset. Granted, haven't seen Triangle of Sadness or The Fabelmans. That's not true. I started Triangle of Sadness, and, that was one of those times where I got 15 minutes into something and said, this ain't for me. I'll tell you. And usually I don't do that. That was one. I don't know what it was either. Had nothing to do with the fact that it was surrounding models. There was something about the style of that movie that, like, I was like, this ain't for me. And I tried. I really did. I really, really did. I love a good slow burn dramedy, as that was going for. Like Banshees of Inisherin. It's a good movie. It's not my top 10 of the year, but I really like that movie, And typically Martin McDonough has those sort of slow burn dramedies, right? I love the way he does that. With Triangle of Sadness, there went that fucking dinging again. It's probably been happening the whole time. With Triangle of Sadness, different story, different story. I don't know what it was, but maybe I'll go back to it. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood for what it was trying to pitch me. But yeah, and I'm going to say Tar is going to take this one, but Everything Everywhere all at once could be the upset set here. Banshees too, though. I mean, Banshees of Inisherin, I got to hand it. I mean, again, from a screenplay perspective, when you're talking about having to write those words, oof, that's a phenomenal script for Banshees. I'll tell you. Not top 10 of the year for me, but it's a phenomenal script. Best Supporting Actress, we have Angela Bassett, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Han Chow for The Whale, Carrie Condon for The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Stephanie Hsu, I apologize if I butchered that, for Everything Everywhere All at Once. There's so many great actresses here. I do think it's going to be Angela Bassett from Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, but I'll be honest, it wouldn't be my pick. I think that's who's going to win. I thought she was phenomenal in the film, too, Angela Bassett. I would go Hong Chow, and that's just me for The Whale. I really loved Hong Chow's work in The Whale. Jamie Lee Curtis is up there for me as well, honestly, for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I think Jamie Lee could be the upset in this category, because a lot of people are taken to her performance. But if it was my personal pick, I loved Hong Chow's work in The Whale. Brought tears to my eyes. She was incredible, this actress. I mean, wow, stunning. But Angela Bassett is my prediction. But Hong Chow should be Hong Chow, if you're asking me. Best Supporting Actor, Brendan Gleeson for The Banshees of Inisherin, Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway, Judd Hirsch for The Fabelmans, Barry Keoghan for Banshees of Inisherin, and Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is tough even for me to pick a favorite out of these. Well, granted, I haven't seen Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway, and I actually don't think he's going to win this. To be fair, I want to watch that movie, and I will. I just don't think it's his year. He's a very good actor. I do like Brian Tyree Henry in general. But no. Judd Hirsch is probably going to take this one. I guess if I wanted... it could be biased, right? Because I grew up on the kid. Ke Huy Quan. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Which, not a kid anymore, but I grew up on him when he was a kid. Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. What's the other thing he did? Goonies. So for me, it's like, yeah, obviously, I would love to see him win personally, but I have to recognize all these actors were great. And again, I haven't seen The Fablemans yet, so but I think it's gonna be Judd Hirsch based on hype right now. Although, man, Barry Keoghan in Banshees, whew, pretty mind blowing too. Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere, though, that would be my personal choice because it was such a cool. He gave a phenomenal performance in that movie, and it's such a cool redemption story to see this guy come back from Indiana Jones and the Goonies. It didn't act for a long time. Comes back and gets nominated for an Oscar. That's how good he was. So it could be him, but I think it's going to be Judd Hirsch. Personally, if I had to guess. All right, who are we looking at for Best Actress? Best Actress, we're looking at Cate Blanchett for Tar, Ana de Armas for Blonde, Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, Michelle Williams for The Fablemans, Michelle Yeoh, Everything Everywhere All at Once. So, of the ones I've seen, tough category again. Like, even hard for me to pick a favorite. Well, I've really only seen two of these. To be fair. Michelle Yeoh and Cate Blanchett, though, it's hard. I think Cate Blanchett for sure, if it was my personal pick right now. But there's three of these I haven't seen. Blonde, To Leslie, The Fablemans. I don't think Michelle Williams will get it for The Fablemans. But, this is a tough category. I'm going to guess Cate Blanchett for Tar, excuse me. Just now having seen the movie. It's really hard without having seen the other ones. I'll tell you, Ana de Armas or Michelle Yeoh or Andrea Riseborough could easily take the award. Just from what I hear. I've seen trailers for Blonde, and wow, Ana de Armas embodies Marilyn Monroe. And I've heard incredible things about Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie. But I do think it's going to be Cate Blanchett for Tar, personally. Just having seen it. Austin Butler for Elvis is the Best Actor, sorry. Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for The Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for Actor's Son, Bill Nighy for Living. So, gosh, I hate to say it. I like Elvis better as a movie than I do The Whale. But Brendan Fraser deserves every bit of the award, and he's going to win. That's my prediction. It's going to be Brendan Fraser for The Whale, and he deserves it. He did incredible work in that movie. Elvis, Austin Butler for Elvis, though, make no mistake, will be the upset here. By the way, I want to mention, too, like Colin Farrell absolutely deserves to be in the category. I mean, Bill Nighy absolutely deserves to be here. And Paul Mescal, absolutely. All these guys deserve to be in this category, as far as I'm concerned. But Brendan Fraser, I don't think there's a contest. When you watch The Whale, you're going to be like, yeah, he's winning it. It was over from the second I saw the trailer. Now that I've seen the movie, wow, I feel that way even more confidently. He's going to win this award. Austin Butler, though, what he did as Elvis, gosh, if there's somebody that's the upset, it's going to be him. Not going to say it's an easy upset because he is an incredible Elvis. I mean, that guy, I saw him on SNL. And it was just him normally. And he was singing Blue Christmas as Elvis. And the way he just turns Elvis off and on, he channels him. And it's insane to me. Gosh. It's like the performance is almost so good as Elvis that I almost wish Brendan Fraser didn't come out in The Whale this year. I wish The Whale didn't come out this year or next year. So both of those guys could have a chance. Because when I saw Elvis, I was like, Austin Butler is going to win the Oscar. Easily, that was my thought. Because he was that damn good. I was like, that guy's going to win an Oscar. I saw The Whale, and it's easily Brendan at this point. unfortunately, for Austin. Sucks when something like that happens, but it is what it is. You gotta. That's the game. Don't hate the player. Hate the game, right? And that sucks. But again, that's the game, and Austin Butler will have other chances to do incredible work. He's coming out. He's going to be in Doom Part 2 next year. That's going to be a big Oscar contender. Can't wait for Doom Part 2 and to see him in it. He's going to do a lot of incredible things just moving forward. I can see it for that guy. He will win an Oscar before he's dead. Believe you me. It's going to happen. So if anybody's upset about him not winning this year, don't worry. That guy, Austin Butler, he's going to get an Oscar. He's an incredible talent, no doubt about it. So don't have any doubt. It sucks right now, but don't have any doubt. All right. Best Director. Now, there's an interesting thing in the category of Best Director, right? Because there's only been 5 years where the Best Picture winner wasn't in the Best Director category as well. Or the director for the Best Picture wasn't nominated. It's only happened 5 years of the, where are we, 96, 95, 96 of the 95, 96 years at the Oscars have been on. It's only been 5 years, I think. So, something around that. Where the Best Picture winner did not have its director nominated in this category. So something to think about for later. All right. Oh, let me rephrase that. It's only been like 5, maybe 6 years that the Best Director didn't win. The Best Director of the Best Picture winner didn't also win Best Director. That's actually what the stat is. So something to think about again. So what I'm trying to say essentially is the one I pick for this is pretty much got to be what I predict for Best Picture. Not necessarily the movie I like the most, which I'll tell you guys that when we get to Best Picture. But Mark McDonough for The Banshees of Inisherin. Daniel Kwan, or I'm just going to say the Daniels. Everybody refers to them as the Daniels. Yeah, fucking, I'll say their names. Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans. Todd Field for Tar. Ruben Östlund for Triangle of Sadness. And I'm going to say it's going to be the Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Right now. That's my prediction. So. And then that brings us to Best Picture, obviously. All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Way of Water, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking. My favorite in here is Elvis. If I was voting, that'd be where my vote would go. But I think it's going to be Everything Everywhere All at Once. And if there's an upset, it's The Fabelmans. And honestly, when we take a look here, Elvis doesn't stand a chance, right? Or its chances are very low. And let's not remember, last year, Coda won. The director wasn't nominated, right? And Coda deserved every bit of that win. That was amazing. I'll tell you what, really, really good movies this year. And not as good as some other years, but really good ones. I mean, All Quiet on the Western Front it's such a visceral, again, it's realistic, it's visceral, it's such a greatly well shot war film, right? And super intense and entertaining. Most war movies are intense, but that one in particular, not one of my favorite, not like top 5 war movies of all time, but a really good one. Avatar: The Way of Water it's one of the best sequels I think I've ever seen. And I mean that wholeheartedly. It's so good. I like it better than the first Avatar, personally. Banshees of Inisherin. It's a fun dramedy, like I said, slow burn. Disappointing on the level of, like, I'm a huge Mark McDonough fan. I love his work. Um, but so disappointing on that level. I thought it was one of my least favorites of his, but I still really liked it, and I was entertained throughout. Elvis, one of the best movies of the year, and my favorite Baz Luhrmann film, personally. Yes, even over Moulin Rouge. And Moulin Rouge is amazing. But Elvis, I think, is Baz Luhrmann's new best film. And the work, again, that Austin Butler did, holy shit, as Elvis. He was incredible. Everything Everywhere All at Once, also one of the best movies of the year, right? Incredible. And yeah, like I said, I mean, it's one of the best movies of the year. It's super original. I love the work that the Daniels are doing as directors right now. Swiss Army Man and now this. Wow. Those guys, gosh, they are like the pure definition of originality. Look it up in the dictionary. It'll say the Daniels. That's the definition of originality. No, I'm kidding, obviously. But The Fabelmans, I haven't seen it yet. I know I'm gonna love it. It's a Steven Spielberg movie, and maybe after I see that, my opinion will have changed. I'll be like, never mind. That needs to win over Elvis. Who knows? And it could win, honestly. I do think it's the upset over Everything Everywhere All at Once right now. Tar is awesome as well. Gosh, that one could take Best Picture too. If you want me to be frank with you guys, it could take Best Picture. And oh my gosh, I don't think I've seen Cate Blanchett give that good of a performance. She's always fantastic. It's her best performance of all time. So I love Tar. Top Gun Maverick, another one of the best sequels I've ever seen, especially, gosh, what that movie achieved coming back 40 years after the first Top Gun, which granted is something that helped it, but the movie had to be good for it to be. It's in the top 10 highest grossing movies of all time, if I'm not mistaken now. Right? Which is unbelievable. And it deserves that. It is such a great theatrical experience. There's no doubt that movie is going to make money. And as much as it did. I mean, it was so good and such an achievement. And Triangle of Sadness, again, wasn't for me. I'm actually shocked to see it in this category. But that's me, and that's why movies are subjective. And I didn't finish the movie, granted. Maybe something like happens midway through, and it's like, holy shit, it's like a complete turn. I don't know. You guys gotta let me know in the comments if the first, I wouldn't even say 15 minutes. I probably got 30 minutes of the way through. So if you guys saw the movie, do you think I should finish it after the first 30 minutes? Let me know. It wasn't for me. I'll be honest. And Women Talking, I still haven't seen, unfortunately, and I want to watch it. Maybe I can cram that one in before the ceremony tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna actually do a top 10 list of the year tomorrow, before the ceremony of my personal favorite movies, which not all of them made it in here, in any of these, but I'll be doing that too. So look out for that. All right, guys, look. Those are my Oscar predictions, but we have business on top of that. And that business is to get hype for The Last of Us, right? I'm so excited to do a pre-show. And first thing I want you guys to do is to comment. Let me know what you think of The Last of Us so far. And if you guys have played the game, don't spoil it for anybody. Seriously. Please. Don't spoil the finale. I'm not going to do that here either. For the non-game players, that is. But what I could say, without spoiling anything, is after this last episode, everything that I was nervous about them being able to adapt, they've adapted, and they've adapted incredibly well. So going into the finale, because let's face it, they have 47 minutes. From what I hear anyway, the finale is going to be like 46, 47 minutes to get through. And it's almost like we're over the big humps. We can kind of breathe now and let the show play. We know it's in good hands now. All the big stuff. Well, there's something big happening tomorrow, don't get me wrong, but like I think we've seen how they've handled everything now, right? And to me anyway, this is one of the best shows I've ever seen. It's unbelievable, honestly. I've never seen a show I can't say I've never seen a show that's good. It's really hard right now. I got to see how the season finishes to be fair to it and to be fair to other shows. It's one of the best TV seasons of all time, without doubt, right? So far, and I'm fully confident that'll be my opinion. After seeing the finale, so I'm super stoked, and I'm a little pissed because I'll tell you what, guys, I'm not watching the Oscars till Monday. I usually watch The Last of Us with family, and I want to do that with family. And so I'm going to watch The Last of Us instead. Monday morning, I'm going to put on the Oscar ceremony, the replay, and I'll be caught up. Now, I'll probably spoil it for myself. I'll probably look at updates, see who's winning and stuff. I still want to watch the ceremony. It sucks. But that's how good The Last of Us is. I'm giving up the Oscars. And the Oscars is one of my favorite days of the year. Outside of Christmas, right? So, I'm giving that up for The Last of Us. But I have to see how this ends. I know how it ends. I have to see other people see how it ends. I'm too damn excited, right? So, gosh, I can't wait, I'll tell you. I really can't freaking wait. And I would say for people to put their predictions in, but don't, please, because I know some of you you're going to be trolls about it. You're going to spoil it for other people, right? So don't, just tell me if you're excited or not for tomorrow. But this show has been a wild roller coaster ride, and one that I'm going to be sad about it ending, at least its first season. I do wonder, for those of you who played the games, and I'll stay away from spoilers here, if they're going to do things because they know what happens in part 2, which will be season 2, as confirmed by Neil Druckmann at the moment. Because now they have the advantage of knowing what happens in part 2, and Neil Druckmann didn't have that when creating the games. Do you guys think they will do more for this one, or more than what the game did to set up part 2? That's a question for all of you out there. Because I'll tell you what, I hope they do. And gosh, how good have these performances been? Emmys is going to have a tough time not nominating this show in every single category. Maybe not every single category, but most of their categories, The Last of Us is going to be in. It's going to sweep at the Emmys. It's an incredible show. Again, one of the best I've ever seen so far. And they had great source material to go from. That's the thing. And they've, in my opinion, they've taken the source material and they've made it even better. For those of you who are new to the channel, I have been doing episode like breakdowns. Not breakdowns. There are people that do breakdowns much better than I do. And maybe go watch them if you want real breakdowns. But I've been given my thoughts every week, right? My general thoughts, and I'll tell you, it's been fun. It's been fun to do. Last week, it was the best episode of the season. I said as much. Bella Ramsey, oh man, she's gonna win an Emmy, unless Euphoria season 3 surprisingly comes out this year as well. Because that would mean Zendaya's got to win, right? She's won for both seasons of Euphoria now. And Zendaya is one of the best actresses of all time, and she's next level actress right now. So, without a doubt, she deserves it. Each year she's won for Euphoria. And that show's amazing. I love Euphoria. But, man, Bella Ramsey stepped up. And really, I mean, this is her foyer into, in my opinion, even though she was in Game of Thrones, and that's a very adult show, there was kind of a gimmick behind that performance to where it was like, it was almost going to be like adorable no matter what kid you got to do it, right? I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying any kid could have done it with their confidence. But it was like, as long as you got a confident child, right, who was a decent actress, they could do those lines, right? And it probably would have been cute in Game of Thrones. Either way you did it. The way she did it in Game of Thrones. But I'll tell you, man, the way, I mean, she's shown in this show, she is, Bella Ramsey is its own individual brand. Like, she is her own individual actress with her own individual style. Excuse me. That's what I love about it. And she's on her way to being just as big of a star as Pedro Pascal is right now. I mean, America's fallen in love with Bella Ramsey right now. Let's be fair. And Pedro Pascal, granted, he was amazing in Game of Thrones. And when I saw him in Game of Thrones, I was like, that guy, there's something to that guy, right? He had a small run on Game of Thrones. I mean, he was in all of season 4 for the most part. But I'll tell you, when I saw him, I was like, that Pedro Pascal guy's got chops. And then sure enough, I was so excited to see him in Star Wars when he got cast in The Mandalorian. And that shows Mandalorian went on to become one of the biggest shows of all time, right? He's great in it, but he's under a helmet for a majority of the show. So I don't think people really jumped on, excuse me, the Pedro Pascal hype train for Pedro Pascal as much. A lot of people did. Don't get me wrong. There's still a pretty good chunk of people that are a part of the Pedro Pascal fan base because of Mandalorian and how iconic he's made the role. But some people were like, yeah, that guy in the helmet's really good, probably. You know, maybe not looking it up. I'm talking like people who just watch The Mandalorian casually, right? And watch TV shows casually. Last of Us, after the first episode, I think it happened, he became the biggest star in the world overnight. I mean, I said right now, I'm not saying this will be how it always is or how it was before. Right now, just in this moment that he's having, if you put him on a movie poster and then at the screen next to that is a movie poster with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the Pedro Pascal movie is going to make more money, most likely. He's a bigger box office draw right now. 3 months ago, we'll see. We might put this Last of Us stuff behind us. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson might come out with another hit, and then he's back on top, right? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has that clout. He can come right back up on top almost whenever he wants, right? He's a very charismatic being and very powerful movie star and being. But Pedro Pascal, I'm telling you, he is the biggest star in the world right now. Just in this moment. He's a bigger box office draw. If you saw a trailer tomorrow with Pedro Pascal's face on it, you'd go see that movie. Most people would. I mean, I'm not saying this, it's all subjective, right? Like, everybody's got a different opinion, but most people are going to go see that movie. And I think it's amazing. Because I'm telling you guys, I saw that talent when he was Oberyn Martell on Game of Thrones. I was like, holy shit, that guy is incredible. Hey, he's awesome in Game of Thrones. If you're a Pedro Pascal fan and you haven't seen Game of Thrones, you should honestly watch all of Game of Thrones, but at least watch season 4 for him. Because, damn, he's good. Not as good as Joel, though. And I still believe Joel, it's the best role he's ever gotten. Or as far as the range and as far as the performance, this is the best role Pedro Pascal's ever played. He was in another little movie, right, a while back called Triple Frontier. I remember reviewing that way back on the channel. Maybe you guys can dig it up. I was way too fucking harsh on that movie. I don't know why. Probably, I might have been in a mode in my mind. Oh, action movies are simple. They're not good. But as far as action movies go, that movie's amazing. And the cast is incredible. Oscar Isaac, Charlie Hunnam, Ben Affleck, and Pedro Pascal. And if that doesn't scream testosterone and charisma, I don't know what does. And the movie's actually really solid. I'd watch it again. As time went on, that was my opinion on the movie. When I reviewed it back in the day, you guys can go look. I gave it like a B. Granted, I didn't dislike the movie. I think I was just harsher on it than I should have been. It's more like an A. That's an A movie. The more I think about it, it was this big action piece that didn't require like the franchise clout or anything to be as great as it was. It was just original, or felt original. And J.D. Dillard, hell of a director, you know? Not J.D. Dillard. J.D. Dillard's the guy that just did Devotion, right? You guys can remind me of the guy's name I'm thinking of. I'm sorry. It's close to that, right? Oscar Isaac worked with him in A Most Violent Year and shit. But he's a phenomenal filmmaker. This show, The Last of Us, has been unbelievable. As a game player, I like it more than the game. And to some degree, that might not be true. Let me explain. I like it more for TV, right? Like, this adaptation works better for TV. It's the best video game adaptation I've ever seen, too, by the way. That's the other thing about it. And what I'm hoping this show does, first of all, let me just say, I know tomorrow just has the most satisfying finale for everybody. I know when I finished the story in the game, I was completely satisfied, and this has been a fairly faithful adaptation of the game, right? But I was completely satisfied when I played the game, and I hope people who didn't play the game feel the same tomorrow. I hope they get a really good, satisfying season finale, right? Because season 2 is going to bring us some shit that could be divisive, right? I love The Last of Us Part 2, personally, but it's ballsy. It's a ballsy-ass story, no doubt. Anyway, what I was trying to say, though, is I do hope this spawns more, not only video game adaptations, but more survival horror video game adaptations that stay faithful to their source material, because there's some great, granted, they're not all as good as The Last of Us, but there are some great survival horror games out there. We're still waiting to get a good Resident Evil, right? In my opinion. Resident Evil started as a survival horror video game franchise. Lost its way as it went, and then kind of came back to that later. But the movies and the one TV show they tried to do, I don't even think they come anywhere close. I didn't watch it, but I hear the TV show's like the closest they've come on Netflix, right? But still, I hear that they missed it completely. The movies don't even feel like Resident Evil to me. At all. So we have good potential out there to get more of this type of thing. And I just think, again, we've been missing it. So I hope that kind of comes from all this. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you like to see more? Anyway, I'm super stoked. This is going to be a great finale, guys. I'm 100% confident in Neil Druckmann. I was telling Jose a while back, like, Neil Druckmann working on this, seeing as how he created the game, or the games, obviously helps, right? It's a big deal. It's a big reason why it's working. But if you don't have that extra element of Craig Mazin, I don't think it works as well for TV. Because what Craig Mazin does is he shoots this like it's actual history, right? Like he did for Chernobyl, because Chernobyl was actual history, which, by the way, I gotta watch that. I just hear it's amazing, and I know I can already see in my head Craig Mazin probably did Chernobyl incredibly well, right? But I'm hoping for or I'm thinking for The Last of Us. I lost my train of thought. I apologize. For The Last of Us, it's like, yeah, you need that extra element of Craig Mazin to make it work, and that trust between the two, right? Because Neil Druckmann can trust Craig Mazin to not completely screw up the product, because Craig Mazin's a real fan of the games. He's a true fan of the games, so you could tell. So you need that element. But Craig Mazin's got to trust Neil Druckmann to be able to let go in the right moments and not do it exactly the same in the moments that don't need to be exactly the same. And that relationship is why the show's working. And then also, they just casted the roles perfectly well, right? Because they both knew the type of cast members that they would need to capture the spirits of these characters. And again, they're not exactly like the game characters. They're close. They do things differently. They act a little differently than the characters in the games. Than Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson, who did phenomenal in the games. And they're doing them justice because they're still capturing the spirit that was brought to those performances. That's what I love about it. There went the ding again. Maybe that's my red light, right? Telling me to get off. But listen, guys, this was actually kind of fun doing it solo. Maybe I'll do more by myself. You got to let me know if that's something you'd want to see. Because if I could do them by myself, I bet you we get more episodes of Movie Mornings out there. Because, I don't have to keep track of everybody else's schedule and everything. If I just do more by myself. So it's a thought. I might just do it because I had a lot of fun, honestly, talking with you guys today. My throat hurts. It's dry. I miss Jose for that reason. I'll tell you that. I need to bring more with me to drink because this is about out. And if I didn't want to preserve my voice for this, I'd keep going for another hour or two. I don't know, probably just another hour because I have things I want to do as well. But damn, this is fun. I'm not going to lie to you. So let me know if you want to see more with just me, if you like this vibe that we got going on here. I'm having fun, not going to lie. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you're excited for The Last of Us tomorrow and the Oscars. Let me know how you're going to do this. If you plan to watch both, which one's going to take priority? That's a question for the audience. If you were going to watch both the Oscars and The Last of Us, is The Last of Us going to come first for you? Or is the Oscars going to come first for you? I bet you'd be surprised how many people are putting the Oscars first. Honestly, I know, like, in terms of general popularity, The Last of Us is going to come first, but I bet you'd be surprised how many people put the Oscars first. But we'll see. But let me know in the comments below for sure. All right, guys, look, before I get out of here, hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, hit the leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, and hit the bell for notifications. And another question for you guys, because I'm seeing a lot of you, I'm getting a lot of views on the videos, right? We've been getting great views lately. Fantastic. But what we're struggling with is getting people to hit that subscribe button. And I want to know what you guys think. Why do you think people aren't hitting subscribe? It's absolutely free to do. Is there something we could be doing better? I mean, let me know. What do you think we need to do to get you guys to hit subscribe? That's the question, because that's where we're struggling right now is getting people to convert and subscribe. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're still gaining subscribers, but it's at a much slower pace. And I'm not saying everybody that's going to view the videos got to subscribe, because there's some people this content's just not going to be for them, or this style that we bring, right? It's not for them, and that's understandable, and that's not an expectation I have. However, I do think the viewer to subscriber ratio is not as high as I think it could be at the same time, and should be. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just me gloating and saying that we have a great YouTube channel. Maybe this channel sucks. Maybe you're like, hey, buddy, you got to do more. There's stuff you need to do to get people to subscribe. If you want more of your viewers to subscribe, do this, this, that, and this. You got to let me know. All right. I'm not going to take up any more of your guys' time. Thank you guys so much for joining for this episode of Movie Mornings. I'm sorry I was by myself today. I tried to think of somebody who would want to do this with me. Jose's in Florida. Sammy's usually on with us, Sammy Ramirez. This is a bad week for her to join. Schedules didn't line up. And I couldn't think of anybody else, but maybe I'm being an asshole and forgetting somebody. Anyway, before we get out of here too, also you guys could follow me up there. It's at Dom_Martino_ and on Dom_Martino_ official. Make sure you follow the Movie Morning or Extract Media pages. It's Extract Media blog across Twitter and Instagram. It's up there. So make sure you do that. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Leave some comments. Let's have a conversation, and I will talk to you guys later.